Cliff Richard, born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940, in Lucknow, India, had a childhood shaped by the winds of change. His early memories were of warmth, love, and the vast open skies of British India. But, as history tore apart the familiar, his family was forced to leave and return to England in the wake of India's struggle for independence. The long sea voyage led them to a post-war Britain, where rationing and hardship were everyday realities. Their new life in Hertfordshire was a far cry from the comforts of India. It was here that Harry, now Harry Webb, began to understand the contrast between his childhood world and the harsh new environment he had to adjust to. In the midst of this, he discovered music, which became both an escape and a driving force. His love for rock and roll, especially the electrifying sounds of Elvis Presley, pushed him to rise above the challenges of his new life. By his late teens, Harry Webb had become Cliff Richard, a name that signaled both strength and a bold new identity. Cliff Richard's rock and roll breakthrough. Cliff Richard's transformation into a musical legend began when he joined his first band, The Drifters, which later became known as The Shadows. He released his debut single, Move It, which immediately caught the attention of British music lovers. The track was a sharp, rebellious departure from the conventional pop sounds of the time, and it struck a chord with the youth. Within weeks, Cliff was hailed as Britain's first true rock and roll star, creating waves of teenage hysteria that were unheard of in the UK. Fans screamed and fainted at his concerts, mirroring the wild scenes that were seen at Elvis Presley's shows in the US. Cliff Richard was not just another young singer, he was the face of a cultural shift. He had brought rock and roll to Britain, and in doing so, had created a phenomenon. With his music, he redefined the idea of a pop star and set the stage for his remarkable career. A newfound confidence, transformation, and personal loss. Cliff Richard's commitment to his faith brought about a significant transformation, both personally and professionally. After publicly declaring his Christianity, Cliff felt free from the pressure of always performing a role. He revealed that much of his earlier persona had been a mask, hiding insecurities. Embracing his faith allowed him to be authentic and confident in a way he had never been before. However, this newfound confidence came at a personal cost. At the tender age of 21, Cliff lost his father unexpectedly. This forced him to take on the responsibility of caring for his mother and sisters, a role that would shape his future. Years later, he would also watch his mother battle Alzheimer's disease, a heartbreaking experience that took an emotional toll. Despite these personal challenges, Cliff stayed focused on his career, though his relationships with romantic partners suffered. His love for his family and faith often took precedence over his own happiness, but it was this sense of duty that helped him endure the ups and downs of his life. Cliff Richard's career resurgence, a remarkable comeback. By the mid-1970s, Cliff Richard's career seemed to be in decline. The once rebellious rock star now appeared outdated in a world that had moved on to newer sounds and younger stars. For an entire year, Cliff's music didn't chart, and it seemed like his time had passed. However, just when critics were ready to write him off, Cliff made a triumphant return with Devil Woman in 1976. The track was a dark, edgy departure from his previous wholesome image, and it quickly became a hit, reaching the top 10 in both Britain and America. This marked the beginning of a new era for Cliff, one where he shed the teen idol label and embraced a more mature, serious artistic identity. The success of Devil Woman re-established him as a force in the music industry, and his career continued to thrive in the following decades. In the 1980s, albums like Always Guaranteed further cemented his status as a pop legend, proving that he could adapt to changing musical tastes without losing his unique appeal. The Christmas Miracle, Mistletoe and Winecliff, Richard achieved something remarkable in the late 1980s with his holiday hit, Mistletoe and Wine. What began as a simple Christmas song quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Released in 1988, the track soared to #1 in the UK and stayed there for weeks. It became the best-selling single of the year and earned platinum status, solidifying Cliff's reputation as a pop icon. Even more impressive was the fact that the song reached such heights without the heavy promotional backing typically given to holiday singles. Mistletoe and Wine continues to be a seasonal favorite, and its success marked a new chapter in Cliff's career. As the 1980s drew to a close, he celebrated the release of his 100th single with a special performance at the London Palladium, where fans voted on what song he should perform. This special connection with his audience only deepened his bond with his fans, reminding the world that Cliff Richard was far from finished. Cliff Richard's legacy, unyielding resilience and triumph. Cliff Richard's legacy is built on resilience. He overcame personal heartbreak, career downturns, and public controversies with unwavering determination. By the late 1990s, he had proven himself to be a survivor, continuing to release chart-topping hits despite being written off by many. His 1999 hit Millennium Prayer faced harsh criticism, but Cliff's loyal fans rallied behind him, propelling the single to #1 in the UK. The song became more than just a hit, it became a statement. Cliff had survived decades in an ever-changing industry, and he was still relevant, loved, and admired. Despite industry pushback, he proved that his connection with the public was stronger than any challenge he faced. Over his career, Cliff sold over 250 million records, won numerous awards, and was honored for his charity work. His perseverance and ability to adapt to the times have ensured his place as one of the most iconic figures in British music history. The Darkest Chapter, a raid that shattered his reputation. In 2014, Cliff Richard was subjected to a devastating public ordeal when police raided his home in Portugal, following an unsubstantiated allegation of assault. The raid, broadcast live by the BBC, was a humiliating spectacle for Cliff, and the subsequent investigation produced no evidence to support the claims. The media circus that followed took a severe toll on his health and well-being, causing him to withdraw from the public eye. Though he was later cleared of all charges, the damage to his reputation had been done. The media's handling of the case was a dark chapter in Cliff's life, and it was only years later, in 2018, that he received a ruling in his favor, affirming that his privacy had been violated. Despite the legal victory, the emotional scars remained. For Cliff, the raid would forever be a painful reminder of how his legacy was nearly tarnished by false accusations. Cliff Richard's enduring influence, a legend's final triumph. Despite the challenges he faced, Cliff Richard's impact on the music industry is undeniable. He continues to be a beloved figure, not only for his music, but for the resilience and integrity he displayed throughout his life. His journey is a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of adversity. From his rock and roll beginnings to his role as a Christmas icon, Cliff has earned his place as one of Britain's most enduring and influential stars. Today, his music continues to inspire new generations, proving that his legacy is far from over. His story reminds us that true success lies not in the absence of hardship, but in the strength to overcome it.